So it's Fancy, and today we are here with Summer Wayans. And Summer, can you call off your titles for us?
I am a plus model, actress, TV personality. I'm also a doctoral candidate. I do public speaking, motivational speaking, ... etc., etc.
Okay. Okay, so you're a doctoral candidate. Can you
Yes.
tell us more about your degree?
So I'm currently getting my clinical psychology PhD, and my emphasis is in multicultural communities. So I'm very interested in the community.
So what made you so interested in that you would go that far as to pursue a PhD in it?
Well, I initially started off with just psychology, and then as I got more and more into my degrees, I started figuring out where I felt there were deficits, where there still needed a lot to be, given, and that's where I gravitated towards. I've always kind of been that person that wants to give back or wants to help out, be a part of things like that. So that's where I was drawn to. And then after I got my bachelor's, I started looking for graduate programs, and I found a program that actually had an emphasis in multicultural communities. And I was like, this is perfect. It has my name written all over it. So that's where I went.
So what are some organizations that you support with your philanthropy?
Oh, I'm a really big LGBT activist. I'm really all about that. So I like to my resources are like GLAD, and I like this program GLIDE, where it's gays and lesbians initiating dialogue about equality. And they actually go around and do speeches, and they generate this dialogue where people usually don't talk about these kinds of things, and they make it more acceptable to talk about it, which I really appreciate. I like to get out into the community. In New York, I'm working with Guns Down, Life Up, which is to reduce the gun violence that's going on in the streets, and I'm all about that life.
Okay, so we have the cover photos and so on. So what made you decide to include Chaunte, your cousin, into the interview?
Well, I think one of the biggest things is that when people hear Wayans, they think of Marlon, Sean, Damon, Keeman, and Ken, but they don't really realize that there are so many more. Mm-hmm. And then when they do, it's kind of like, oh, there's just a whole bunch more of them, but they don't really know us. So first generation kind of already stepped out, and they did what they did, and they're still working and doing a lot of things, but second generation is very much so in the move right now. Mm-hmm. So starting off with my older brother, Craig Wayans, like he's the leader of the pack, he's the oldest, and since then it's like trickling down, and everyone has their own crafts. And within second generation, we are a lot more diverse in our crafts. We do a lot more things, whether it's photography, whether it's modeling, editing, behind the scenes stuff, in front of the camera. Chaunte's doing her comedy tour, Unknown Wayans tour, hence the name Unknown Wayans,
right.
Because a lot of people don't know us. So, when the opportunity came about, I thought, what better way would it be than to broadcast two women in second generation Wayans. Right. So that's where we're at. Not to mention I really love her.
So now we know that you did some consulting on Bring It On Yet Again. Mm-hmm. And we also know that you were a cheerleader. So yeah. Was that a part of, can you share that with us? Yeah, so cheerleading is definitely, I love cheerleading. Like, I look into getting into things now still. I'm like, I want to do something. I cheered my whole life from 5 through college, and in college that's when some of these opportunities started coming about. One of the writers of Bring It On Yet Again actually worked with my family before and was like, hey, I know a cheerleader, can you help me out with some of these things? And I was like, yes. So I helped them out with the cheers. I helped them out with like cheer lingo and, figuring out what cheerleaders really do, what they're about, what are the dynamics within different teams, the rivalries, competitions, and actually sent some of my cheerleaders, because I was the captain and then I later coached at Cal State LA. So I had some of my cheer squad actually go, and they were able to be a part of the movie. I didn't get to go because I had finals that week, but school comes first. But I was really excited to be able to consult on that project. That sounds really exciting. Yeah. So, since we're in the middle of winter, well, almost in the middle of winter.
Oh gosh.
What are some of your favorite winter go-to styles?
Layers. Lots and lots of layers. So I live in New York now, and I'm from California, and I always tell my mom, I'm like, Mom, my California blood is freezing out here. So I'm into like the big overcoats that are very stylish, that are long. I love the dusters, you know, the infinity scarves. Those are kind of my go-tos right now.
Oh, I love the scarves. I just got on to them really since I moved here to Atlanta, so I know what that's like.
Yes, it's cold. I've never really been in snow before, so it's a different, whole different environment. Even when it comes to like what I thought was a jacket. Yeah, no, people are like, no, you need a coat. I'm like, what's the difference? And then once I actually got a coat, I was like, oh, this is the difference.
Yeah, there is a difference.
Yeah.
So, my last question for you is, what would be some things that you feel we as women need to come together more so on, or some issues that you feel like we have within the Black community as women?
Oh man, that's an exhaustive list. I think in terms of women, I just think we need to unite more. You know, there's a lot of trying to separate, you know, whether it be the light skin versus the dark skin, the plus size versus the straight size. There's all this division, and that doesn't need to be there. We should be supporting one another more so. And I think that we come from a society which has separated us, and that has emphasized differences instead of looking at what we have in common. So you can see somebody who's completely different visually from you and have so much in common with that person, or your experiences shared could really help someone else.
I agree with that.
So I talk a lot, and I'm okay with that, because I feel like the more I talk, the more I'm giving of myself to the world, and that's what we need more of. We need less individuation and more communal feeling. Like, if we don't get out there and actually make some changes, maybe it might be a little uncomfortable at first, but ultimately it's up to us to make those changes and to come together and to support one another. So I just try to find like causes, things that I'm interested in, things that, you know, I've heard somebody go through something and I'm like, wow, that person had this experience and there were no resources for them. So, well, what can I do about that? Well, I actually know 3 resources, so let me put this on my website, or let me tweet about it, you know, so that somebody might actually pick it up and look at it. I'm like, sometimes I might be talking to myself out there, but the chance of somebody looking at it and actually being able to use it are high.
And actually, I know I said that was the last question, but you said something. When I was on your site and I saw the post about the, what is it, blue jean?
Denim Day.
Yes, because I had never heard of that before. So I actually was planning to put that on our editorial calendar to make mention of it as well, on our website or in the magazine or issue or something along the lines of that, because I don't think a lot of people know about it still.
And that's the thing, like, I think coming from the field that I come from in psychology, these are the things that we're really aware of. So I was co-hosting on Black Hollywood Live, and it came about in the discussions about, you know, rape allegations and things right now that are going on in the media. And when I said it, I almost felt like, oh crap, like I don't have all the details about it. I mean, I know about it and I support the cause, but I was like, no, I didn't give enough information. Like, somebody probably needs this information. So I did a follow-up on my blog. I was like, hey, here's the information. Here are the links to where you can go. And, you know, things that I take for granted and I've been exposed to them. When I come across people who've never heard of it, I'm like, oh, okay, that's another way that I can give the information that I know and possibly help someone.
Oh. And that's really something to think about, because a lot of people oftentimes do have those resources, they do have that knowledge. Like you said, it's about sharing, and a lot of people don't care for sharing, especially within our community, it seems like it, because everyone's so afraid of, you know, this person getting ahead off of their knowledge and so on. So that's why. And I think those are some very great points.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of getting ahead, my theory is let's all get ahead. Like, if we can all get ahead as a community, that's great for us. I love networking and linking people to other people. If I have a makeup artist that's really awesome, I am going to refer her to everybody that I ever hear of that might need a makeup artist, because that's her service. That's what she does, and she was amazing, so why not he or she? Because I've had amazing from both sides. You know, and just trying to really spread the word, you know, and what happens is then it turns around and that person may be like, hey, do you need a model? You need a motivational speaker? Hey, I know a really awesome person. If we start changing that mind frame of it's not about that person getting ahead, but about us making everyone in a position to get ahead. As society, we are going to get ahead rather than staying stagnant in the same place.
Right. Okay. Well, do you have any projects that you care to mention, or?
I mean, I'm all over the place right now. It's a new year, so I'm hitting the ground running. I'll be back on Black Hollywood Live, doing some more co-hosting. There might be some reality type projects in the works, so we'll see how that pans out. I am also plus model for Shop Lay Look, which is Vanessa Simmons' new project. She has an online site where you can shop the look that you want. So I'm her curvy model, and I'm loving every minute of it. And the site just launched, so I'm like, yay, I made the homepage.
Oh,
so there's a lot of projects like that that I'm just really trying to get involved and spread the word. I'm trying to do a tour this year where I can actually visit different states and different communities nationwide, and do some speaking engagements. I want to reach out to the kids, just go out and spread my chipper personality of the world.
Yeah, I'm sure you were a pretty good cheerleader. You do have that whole bubbly personality.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to mention your plugs, or?
Of course. So everyone can follow me at Summer Wayans on Twitter, Facebook, like my Facebook page, Model Summer Wayans, and I am on Instagram, Pinterest, all that at Summer Wayans. I keep it consistent, even with my website, www.summerwayans.com.
Okay, and also look out for her on our upcoming February issue, which will be out soon. And check us out at swagger.net. That's SWAGHER.net.